Assalamualaikum. We are from Group 9. We would like to present about role and function of Amanah Raya Berhad in Islamic estate management in Malaysia. Okay, my name is Nona Sabiti Umar 252868. So for the background of Amanah Raya Berhad, it formerly known as the Department of Trustee and Estate Administrating Officer, established in 1921, is a leader in providing trust and estate administration service. In 1966, when the first unit trust fund, Tabung Pelaburan Malaysia, was launched by Asia Unit Trust Berhad, this department was appointed as the trustee of the fund. Amanah Raya Berhad incorporated on 29 May 1995, and on 1 August 1995 has common operation as Amanah Raya Berhad. As trustee and administrator, Amanah Raya Berhad service encompass the legal, financial and administrative duty in preparing trust document, will, acting as trustee of trust fund, acting as administrator and executor of deceased estate, as well as monitoring the transaction of unit trust fund under their care. Amanah Raya Berhad registered as a trust corporation under the Public Trust Corporation Act 1995 and the Company Act 1965. So for act related to Amanah Raya, there are four, which is first, Section 17 bracket 1 Public Trust Corporation Act 1995, where Amanah Raya administer estate with movable asset below 600,000. In such case, Amanah Raya issue a declaration containing particular of the estate for distribution among the beneficiaries. In the case of non-Muslim, distribution is done according to the Distribution Act 1958. Second, Section 70 bracket 2 Public Trust Corporation Act 1955. Amanah Raya administer asset below 50,000 ringgit, whereby it issue a direction showing the scheme of distribution of the estate to the beneficiary, who in turn need only produce the said direction to the relevant financial institutions for payment to be made to him or her as per direction. Third, Section 8 Small Estate Distribution Act 1955, where Amanah Raya filed a petition at the Small Estate Distribution Office for appointment as the administrator or for a distribution order in respect of movable and immovable properties only below 2 million ringgit. Lastly, Section 13 Public Trust Corporation Act of 1995, Amanah Raya filed a petition in the High Court for the following purpose. First, to administer estate with movable and immovable property above 600,000 ringgit. Second, to obtain a grant of probate for estate which will or letter of administration for intestate estate. Movable assets such as cash, bank, saving account, share and unit trust. For immovable asset like land and building.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. My name is Shaini. My match number is 257184. So I will talk about rules and functions for Amanah Raya Berhad. Okay, first, they will representing his in the court and administering the estate for their his. Okay, for this, Amanah Raya will use truly jurisdictions that include the administering through the Office of Supervisory of the Small Heirs and the administering with through civil court. Okay, second, they will examine the list of the asset, the ability, and also they will identify the debtor and the creditor of his disease. Well, this they will follow the guideline that have been provided by Sharia supervisory court. So, how they identify the debtor and creditor? So the disease property will be used to pay all the debt that the DCC have before the estate will distribute to the heirs. And the third is about dispose all the mortgage for the related parties. This Amanah Raya, they will act as a administrator of the deceased estate upon the appointment. Okay. The first is about issue by the authority under section 70 sub 1 and sub 2. For 70 sub 1 is to empower Amanah Raya to be directly administer movable property that not more than 60,000 by issuing the declarations which set up of the property that have been provided from Amanah Raya. And for section 70 sub 2, they will empower Amanah Raya to administer the property that contain the movable property that not exceeding 50,000, that will be directly by issuing an authority letters with property is to state the distributions to the deceased heirs. Okay. For the last one is distribution property under faraids, family alliance, and also wills for Muslim. And for non-Muslim, they will use a distribution Act 1958 for non-Muslim.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Irdinatul Nazura binti Nazari. My matric number is 256223. So I'm going to present about the application Islamic estate. One of the key elements of Islamic asset planning and management is Islamic estate planning. So this is achieved in compliance with Sharia guidelines based on faraid. Islamic asset planning includes writing a wasiat, forming a takaful trust, and distributing the estate. As we know, wealth is one component of the sustenance provided to all mankind by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So we as a human consider as trustees on Allah's resources on earth. These resources are to be wisely earned, not abused, destroyed, or wasted. That's why after we die, we need to make sure that property that we have is well distributed. Now we go to the Islamic estate planning. Islamic estate planning is a method of compiling and handling the properties of the deceased, paying any debts and distributing to the rightful beneficiaries the remaining assets. A proper estate administration needs to be carried out in order to the legitimate surviving heirs inherit the property of the deceased. So this application of Islamic estate is a good approach for Muslims because they can be more aware of their responsibility to the family. When the time comes for the distribution of the estate, it will be able to be carried out harmoniously without any misunderstanding. So this estate management does not vary from the majority of service offered by other financial planning groups such as banks and insurance firms, but with the exception that it is focused exclusively on property planning and is based on Sharia. However, non-Muslims are not barred from applying for this Islamic-based estate application. It is open to all people. However, this Islamic estate planning is not commonly practiced in our culture. As the administration is still underrated, this situation is very concerning. That is why knowledge on Islamic estate planning needs to be further disseminated in order to reach all people understanding. And that's all from me.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Syahidah binti Magani, nombor matric 253662. So I will present the planning tools in Amanah Raya Berhad. Wasiat is the first planning tool in Amanah Raya Berhad. Wasiat can be defined as a declaration of a person made during his lifetime with respect to his property or benefit thereof to be carried out for the purpose of charity or for any other purpose permissible by Islamic law after his death. Process of wasiah in Amanah Raya Berhad. Amanah Raya Berhad, which is ARB, offer rewriting for the Muslim and non-Muslim, in which the ARB is appointed as the executor or administration to carry out the customer or testator wish for an agreed fees. In Malaysia, the administration of deceased Muslim estate begin with the determination of whether the deceased die intestate or testate. Testate basically means the property left behind by deceased is provided for in a wills, and the executor has appointed before his die. Meanwhile, intestate refer to the properties of the deceased person who have not left the wills and he not appointed the executor before his die. In case when the person die, whether testate or intestate, ARB has authority to administer the movable estate where the value is less than 600,000 ringgit. However, such estate has go through different procedure depending on the value of the estate. Fee of writing will in Amanah Raya Berhad. ARB charge a single lifetime fees of 400 ringgit Malaysia for wills where ARB is appointed as the executor or trustee, and 600 ringgit Malaysia for wills where any other party is appointed as executor or trustee. Regardless of the number of assets involved, the fee for the writing will with ARB is RM500 ringgit for basic wills and 1,200 ringgit Malaysia for comprehensive will. This include wills writing as well as custodianship of the wills. Next, we move to the hibah. Hibah is a second planning tool in the Amanah Raya Berhad. Hibah means give in a term of ain, which is tangible, or otherwise, be it a gift or charities. These three terms have the same meaning. The difference is from the aspect of the purpose of giving, where the is a gift that is intended to get the reward in hereafter, and it is usually from the rich to the poor, where a gift is to glorify a person and usually is related to some things. Process of hibah amanah raya. Hibah amanah raya is a contract or agreement of gift of the asset made by the settler during his or her lifetime for the benefit of the beneficiary without any consideration to the asset is entrusted to the appointed trustee to be held for the benefit of the beneficiary for a certain period of time under surat ikatan hibah executed by the settler and the beneficiaries, and the surat ikatan amanah executed by the beneficiary and his trustee. In fact, the real application of hibah in Malaysia involves the hibah document. Hibah documentation is a special procedure that is encouraged to donor during their lifetime. The function of the document is to ensure the property given to the loved ones is accepted without being challenged by other heirs. In current practice, generally hijab and kabul are executed in the writing and signed by the both parties. The presence of two witnesses. Fees of hibah amanah raya Berhad. There are two fees, which is immovable properties and movable properties. For immovable properties, there are 7 types of fees, which is acceptance fees, income fees, executive fees, legal fees for the trustee deed, legal fee for the transfer of lands, governance service, and other fees. For the movable properties, there are 5 types of fees, which is acceptance fees, income fees, executive fees, legal fees for the trustee, and the government service tax. Last but not least is administration of hibah. There are 9 administration of hibah, which is My Legacy Will Service KL, Amalan Harmoni Sdn Berhad Johor Bahru, More Class Bracket M Sdn Berhad Selangor, Perfect Will Service Selangor, UAS Bistat Management Sdn Berhad Johor, Nakiwa Sdn Berhad KL, Warisan Mukmin Sdn Berhad Selangor, Capaian Aspirasi Sdn Berhad Johor, Inkwas Smart Sinergi Sdn Berhad Negeri Sembilan, and the last one is Sihab Excellent Agency Sdn Berhad Selangor.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Amalina binti Muhammad Safi. Now I'm going to continue the planning tools in Amanah Raya, which are Faraid and also the trust account. Okay, so from the previous slides, we already discussed about wasiah. So now we are going to look at the Faraid. Okay, so basically, Faraid is a method of distributing the inheritance, okay, which the heir and their right on the inheritance have been determined, okay, which means that when a person died without leaving any wasiah, okay, we will use this Faraid method to distribute their inheritance. So his property will be divided to his heirs, such as wife, children and mother, according to the Islamic law. And then the property will also be distributed only after deducting the debt, the funeral expenses, or the charity, which will be determined by the Islamic law. So generally, it will not exceed 1/3 of the total assets. Okay, so there are 5 forms of properties which can be distributed in Faraid, which are the building, land, jewelry, animal, livestock, the cash or insurance. Okay, so basically in Amanah Raya, they only control the deceased asset, which is only movable property, okay, and the value shouldn't exceed 600,000 ringgit Malaysia. Okay, so as you can see at the screen, this is what happens generally when someone dies and he doesn't leave any wills. Okay, so first of all, the estate, of course, it will be frozen until the case is settled. Okay, so what family should do is that they must apply for Faraid certificate at the Syariah court, okay, which will have the name of the eligible beneficiaries and the information of the value of the estate and also the proportion of each of the beneficiary. Okay, so basically this process will take about only 5 working days. Okay, so the Ashabul Furud or the Qurani heirs, okay, must have a mutual agreement to choose the same administrator. Okay, so the wealth will be divided based on the Sharia law. Okay, so basically the process is the same as when they have a legal wasiah. Okay, so for instance, if we use the funeral expenses followed by the outstanding payment of debt, uncompleted Hajj or Nazar, okay, so the balance or the remainder of the estate will be distributed among the beneficiaries according to the Faraid. Okay, so for the beneficiaries which are below 18 years old or disabled, okay, they the share will be deposited in the trust account at Amanah Raya, and then it can be claimed when they reach the age of 18 or at the age which have been agreed in the deed of trust. When there is no living family members, okay, or there are no one come and claim the estate, so the wealth will be given to the Baitul Mal, which the Baitul Mal is the Islamic financial institute. Before distributing the wealth, so the beneficiary will have to apply to the High Court of LA or Letter of Administration. So this will depend on the asset value, okay, which they also can apply at Amanah Raya, and also the District Land Administrator Office. Okay, so the administrator will need two guarantees who can guarantee the same value of the asset. Okay, so for the value of estate that is 600,000 ringgit Malaysia and lower, they will not require for a guarantees. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the estate administration fees. Okay, in Amanah Raya they will charge 5% for the first 25,000. This 25,000 are referred to the value of the wealth. Okay, so for the next remaining balance up to 235,000 ringgit, only 4%. Okay, and then 3% for the next remaining 2% for the next remaining up to 500,000 ringgit, and 1% for any remaining balance. So we are moving to the trust account. Okay, so basically trust account in Amanah Raya will offer financial security which can be opened by any individual or corporate entities. Okay, so in this case, Amanah Raya will act as a trustees in order to administer the trust asset. Okay, so in case if the donor has been declared as bankrupt, so all these trust asset will be kept safe from the creditors. Okay, so this trust account also provide Amanah Raya also provide a variety of trust account, okay, to fulfill the wishes of the donor depend on their requirement. So for instance, the product offered in the Amanah Raya is the cash trust, property trust, insurance trust, hibah and deklarasi hibah. Okay, so the minimum capital to open a standard trust account is 2,000 ringgit, and to start an Amanah Safecare amount, the minimum capital should be 50,000 ringgit. So that is all the trust asset in Amanah Raya. So last but not least, it is the Amanah Raya goals to ensure the beneficiary benefits and to take care of it continuously. Okay, so that's all from me.
In the conclusions, Amanah Raya Berhad is implement the administrative of the estate management that not only for the administrative right, but in generally, they want to help the community in terms of property management. So the service that has been provided by Amanah Raya Berhad is about for the people who want to settle their inheritance property. So Amanah Raya Berhad has been authorized and expertise process of the property to distribution of their hills, and basically Amanah Raya Berhad has do a good job, and they has been arrested to the community in effective and speedy competitions of the administrations in terms of estate management. And thank you for us.